So many blessings to you out there. I'm really excited to share something new with you that's coming from me. It is an inspiration that I've had with my beloved Veronica. We've been talking about how it might be good that I share some of the blessings that I've been granted as far as the yoga of finances. So that's what I'm coining this for now, just because it's kind of spur of the moment, and I thought I'd start sharing a little bit about the ability to manage and create not just wealth and abundance, but a yogic wealth and abundance at the same time. So a wealth and abundance where you have money, time, energy, time for not just vacations, but also for presence each day, time for meditation, time for joy, time for play, as well as more than enough to cover all of your expenses, to cover time going on vacations, time to play, massages, acupuncture treatments, whatever it is. You have more than enough. At the same time, you have more than enough time. Now, this is going to be me sharing a lot of different things over many different videos, just giving you one step at a time. I guess I'll call it a process, but it's just really a way of tapping in and shifting your reality from where it is now. If you're in a situation where you're in debt, or you feel like you don't have enough time, or you don't have enough money, then this would be great tools for you. I happen to be blessed with an abundance of time, an abundance of money, a beautiful layout as far as a portfolio. I do what I love. I teach what I love. I make money doing that. And there's more than enough to go around. I travel a lot. I meditate multiple times a day. I don't start work until, on average, never before 10 o'clock in the morning. And I stop at dark, no matter what. So I have plenty of time in a day. And I tell you, really everything I do, I love. But that's been a building, that's been a process. I'm now 44, and it wasn't always this way, but there was a building into it. So, step number one I want to share with you today, and this is kind of really assessing where you're at right now. A lot of us are in a position where we're spending more than we're making. We're relying on credit cards, and I'll tell you, that's fine, but there will be a day that credit runs out, and you're paying a lot of interest on credit cards. So how do we move in a way that we cover everything that we need, and have an abundance more? And is it possible to do that right away? Probably not if you're not in that position. It's going to take steps. So Veronica went to a spiritual psychology university called University of Santa Monica. And one of the things that she shared with me that they share is creating an ideal scene. And an ideal scene is something, the ideal, if you could envision what your layout with expenses, play, time, money, what you create, what you manifest, how much time you put into it, etc. What would that be? And make sure it's at least 50% believable. So you want to push your edges, but you don't want to be unrealistic with this. So an ideal scene is first, what's your intentions? What's your desires? What are your realistic desires? What are your realistic intentions? And play with that a little bit. So that's part of this first one, is really getting into that creative flow of what is it that I'd like in my life? And it's not just what I don't want. A lot of what you're experiencing right now, possibly with finances, is where are the challenges? We need to know where those are, what we don't like, to give us an impetus to move into what is it that I would like? What is it that I do want? But what is realistic? There's so many courses out there teaching all of this stuff. You can manifest your dreams and the millions and all of this, and maybe that's true, maybe it's not. But the reality is, what is enough? And let's get there first and build on that. And these teachings that I'm going to give you guidance into is not about getting the home run. This is not about making the quick buck. This is about creating a self-sustaining way of living that is supportive for your inner and your outer, for enjoying yourself inside and enjoying yourself outside, for being able to play, being able to meditate, and being able to work, and to be able to enjoy it all. This doesn't guarantee that you're not going to have stressors, that you're not going to be doing things that you don't like. That's part of life. But what this is going to give you is a very realistic, tangible way of accessing tools that you can apply inside and can apply outside, where you can really have more than enough financially, energetically, time-wise. There's more than enough. And you can, maybe not immediately, but in a process over time, be able to be creating or manifesting everything that you need, doing work that you absolutely adore. That's all possible. And this is not pie in the sky stuff. I'm not here to teach you pie in the sky or give you some guarantee that isn't possible. This is about real, tangible work. So, ideal scene. What is at least 50% believable, realistic? What would you like? What do you want to create? Manifesting, but also time. Recognize what you're putting in. What you want to manifest is also going to require time and energy. Where's the balance? This is part of the realistic. This is not about, I want to create hundreds of millions of dollars. That may evolve over time, but what is it that you want as far as being able to really enjoy a reasonable, reliable vehicle, a nice house, etc. These are things that we may want to grow into. But also recognize anything that you need to manifest is also going to take energy, not just to create, but also to manage, okay? And part of passive income is building on what you've already created and creating, what's the word that I'm looking for? Creating passive income on the monies that you've already created, okay? So, ideal scene is number one, and the second part of this is really looking at a 1-year budget. Okay, we're going to look at the 1-year budget first, and this is, what do you spend in a year? Look at your past year. What did you spend, and what did you make? So that's your first step. What did you spend? What did you make? How much money did you make, and how much money did you spend? What's the difference? Are you in the black or are you in the red? Are you in the positive or in the negative? Okay, so know that differential. Okay. Now, in this next year, which you can start right now or at the beginning of the year or whatever your number one day is, and you set a budget. This is what I make in a year, in a month, in a week. You want to know all three. What do I make in a year? What do I make in a month? What do I make in a week? And then the same thing. What do I spend in a year? What do I spend in a month? What do I spend in a week? And then you're going to break that down into fixed income and fixed costs and variable costs, and fixed income and variable income. What are the fixed costs? Fixed costs are going to be things that are fixed. These are costs that you absolutely have to spend. These are expenses that you have to spend every month, and it's the same amount every month. This would be, for instance, car payment, insurance, car insurance, house insurance, etc. House payment or rent. These are fixed costs. These are things that are not going to vary month to month, week to week, okay? So what's your fixed costs? Figure that out. That's an absolute that you have to make every month, fixed costs. Those are your fixed expenses. Your variable costs are going to be, for instance, food, dining out, movies, play, clothing. All of these things are fixed costs. Your phone may be, or those are going to be variable costs. Your phone may be likely a fixed cost, not a variable cost. You probably have the same phone amount every month, so that'll be a fixed cost. If you have children, some of those things are going to be fixed and variable costs. If you're going to school, that's going to be likely, there will be a fixed cost, and then there may be books, which will be a variable cost. So you want to figure out your fixed cost and your variable cost, okay? These are your expenses. Then fixed income and variable income. What is your fixed income? This is what you are guaranteed to make every month. What do you make from your job or whatever you do every month? If you work an hourly job and you know that you absolutely work 40 hours a week, that'll be your fixed income. If it varies by week to week, then what is your, that'll be, you have a variable income and you don't have any fixed income, okay? So your fixed income is an absolute that you make every month. If you get a salary, then you have a fixed income. If you work a certain job and you are guaranteed that work every week, that'll be a fixed income. Variable income will be if your hours vary week to week or month to month, or if you make commissions, or if you make, if you sell something that is on the side, or that is your income and it varies month to month and it changes. Those will be variable incomes. You want to have those factored in. What is that per month, per year, per month, per week? Okay? So you want to look at your last year first, what those were, and then what is your going forward, so you have an idea. So we're setting our budget forward. So in the next year, what do I already know that I spend and what do I already know that I make? All right, so your fixed and variable expenses and your fixed and variable incomes. Now we want to set a budget for our first year, and then we want to have a plan going to our 1, 3, 5, and 10 years. So what the 3, 5, and 10 years, we just want to lay out a plan of what am I doing now and where would I like to be in 3 years? That's just one line. Where would I like to be in 3 years? Where would I like to be in 5? And where would I like to be in 10? The 10 may be your ideal scene, okay? And it may be in 5 years your ideal scene. But what is 50%, at least 50, and I would say really 75% believable? We want to leave some magic in there, but right now we're working from realistic, okay? So your 1 year is absolute realistic. You know what you've made this past year, and then you want to look at that same setup. Where are you at right now for the next year? Okay, so we want to, and what are our goals? Are we in this next year, or do we have goals of cracking our what we are in debt with? How much do we want to knock off of that in the next year? First year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Do we want to be debt free in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? What is it? All right. And so that's what we're going to work with first. Is ideal scene, and then the fixed income and variable income, fixed expenses, variable expenses. Now, what is this leading us to? What our intention here is to very realistically build out a way that you can live in a way where you have more than enough, where you're enjoying what you do. You have more than enough time to do everything that you love to do, both while you're making money and while you're not making money. You have more than enough. So that's what we're going for, realistically, joyfully, playfully. This is the game. This is step one in our process. Ideal scene, and then the fixed and variable incomes and expenses. All right, so get that laid out, and next week we'll go into the next step of going into what is next. All right, so step one, happy to have you. I'll talk to you next week and give you the next steps. Namaste.